Okay, so I've never made anything quite like this before. I'm making a farm table for the cabin I'm going to be building. I did the frame already. Frames made out of 4x4s that I kind of milled down, um, and put cross braces on. Set the set the tabletop up to, it's going to be 58 by 44, and you can see there's the framework's already made. On top of it, what you're seeing is this is the tabletop itself. I just got through gluing it together, put some biscuits in there. I use my biscuit joiner, got it clamped down. Also have it clamped down to the table to make sure it stays flat. But so far it's coming pretty good. I got the idea off of YouTube, wanting to build my own furniture for my cabin. So this is the first piece. It's going to be a pretty good sized farm table for the kitchen. And on the framework, I did all the pocket holes, and I still got a lot of sanding to do and things of that nature. But on top, I'm going to stain the tabletop, a walnut, darker walnut color. And I'm going to then pour that epoxy resin over the top of it, that self-leveling resin, to bring out a real nice color to it and shine to it. I'm going to put breadboards here on the end. I'll put 8.5-inch breadboards across the end of it on each side. I'll join those together either with dowels, or I'll join them together with the biscuit joiner and biscuits. Still have obviously a long ways to go, but I'm looking forward to completing the job. This will be the first piece of furniture that I've built. I'm going to build all the exterior doors. I'm going to put in sliding barn doors into the cabin when I build it on the interior. So it's going to be kind of a rustic look. But as you can see, I got it all clamped up. I'm going to let it sit here overnight, and then I'll come in and I'll finish up the tabletop tomorrow. Got to cut this end off here flush. Then I'll put the biscuit join together, the breadboards on the end. And then I'm going to paint the bottom white. I'm going to paint it like a china white, really real white color. And I think that a contrast. So we're going to do all of our cabinetry in white with a walnut wood facing on it. Even the countertops are going to be that way. I'm going to put a gloss coat on the countertops, the resin coat. But so far so good. The the shop's a mess, as you can see, and a lot of stuff over there. My nice trusty Bosch table saw, my DeWalt radial arm saw, sliding radial arm saw. But I'll give you updates tomorrow when I'm through with the breadboards on the ends of this. I'll sand everything down and start putting it together. I got a lot of sanding to do on the base still down here on the legs and the substructure of this, but I think it's going to look pretty nice after I'm done. I love doing woodwork. I'm just not an expert. Like I see some of these guys, they have all of these fancy tools, planers and everything in their shop. Well, I don't. I have a biscuit joiner. I have a doweling. I got a bunch of nice tools, but I don't have a planer and some of the other things that they have. So I have to do a lot of sanding by hand on this tabletop, but I'll keep you up to date with how it's going. Thanks. Okay, so I put the breadboards on the end. You're looking at the bottom side right now. I went ahead, the breadboards are the same width as the boards across the base of the table, the face of the table. These are 8.5 inches wide. I trimmed a 2x10, cut it on my table saw down to 8.5 inches wide, squared all the edges up. I went ahead earlier today and on the tabletop itself, I went ahead and I trimmed it all up, squared it up, the edges, and I applied the the breadboards to both ends. There's one down the other end too. I used pocket screws on this with glue instead of using the biscuit joiner. Just seemed to fit a little bit better. So this is the underside. It's sitting on top of the table. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and I'll show you what it looks like from the top side. Got a lot of sanding to do and still a lot of things going on. Okay, so here's what the top looks like. It looks pretty good. Like I said, I got some sanding to do on it. I will put a wood preparation coat on it so that the stain goes into it evenly. Then I'm gonna stain it with the top I'm gonna stain with a dark walnut. But this is what it looks like right now. I think it looks pretty good. First time I've ever tried anything like this. Then I'm going to build the chairs for it too. But as you can see, it's got a little bit of sanding to do here. It came together really, really well, I think. Then I'm going to go ahead and put after I stain it, going to put the epoxy on it and see what it looks like. But so far I'm pretty pleased with it. Okay, so I've sanded down the table. I haven't screwed it onto the base yet. I won't do that for a while. I started out with 60 grit sandpaper, went to 100, then 150, then I went to 200 grit sandpaper along the top. And I think it's looking pretty good so far. If I say so myself. I'm going to paint, like I said earlier, I'm going to paint the base of it white, and the top part's going to be, the tabletop's going to be walnut. I'm going to put a pre-coat on it first, do that right away. Wiped it down really good. The tabletop itself is 34 by 58. The legs on it are 29 inches high, so the total tabletop is about 31 inches high. So it's and then I'm going to make chairs for it. But here you can see how I constructed the base of it underneath you can see that there. That's how it looks underneath it. Again, 29-inch legs, 47-inch cross members. The tabletop itself is 54 inches by 30 inches. So that's the table base is 54 by 30. So far I'm happy with it. Got it all sanded up, ready to put on a pre-coat of stain. I'll let you know what it looks like after I stain it. Okay, real quick, I just put the pre-conditioner on there for the pre-stain conditioner. Came out really good. I'm about ready to stain it, put the first coat on. I'm using this Minwax penetrating dark walnut. I'm going to go ahead and put it on right now, and then I probably won't leave it on very long because I don't want to. I'll probably wipe it off fairly quickly because I'm not certain how dark I want it. If I want it darker, I'll go ahead and give it another coat. But so far, so good. Okay, here's what it looks like so far. I just did the stain. I'm only going to do one coat of stain because my wife likes it. So I think it turned out really, really well. I love how the grain came out. Next step is I'm going to take the top off. I'll just set it on the ground. I have epoxy resin coming that I'm going to flood the top with and let it. It'd be like the top of like a bar or something, in a saloon. But I've never done that before either, but I'm going to flood the top of it with epoxy resin. And then I'm going to paint the frame all white. So I think that'll look pretty cool. Look really nice contrast. But there you have it. You know, and what I like about this is trying to get this in there is I don't have planers. I don't have a lot of these real fancy, you know, tools that I see these guys building these tables with, and more power to them. But this is from a guy that if you got a table saw, a chop saw, and then you buy a couple, you know, small tools like a, you know, a $50 or $70 biscuit joiner. You can get one at Harbor Freight. I bought a nicer one, but you can get them at Harbor Freight for like $60. And if you have a pocket, a little pocket hole jig to put pocket screws in it, you know, that's what I did on all the framework where the cross sections come together. It's all pocket screws. The tabletop's biscuit joint. First time I've ever done either one of something like that. But you know, you can buy a pocket screw jig for $30 at Harbor Freight. And so I got about I'm guessing $100 worth of material. Once I put the resin on there, that resin costs about $100, but that's the most expensive thing. But you can build this with just normal shop tools. You got a sander, you got a chop saw, you have a table saw, got some clamps, you know, things like that, and you can build this. You don't need to have a planer. You don't need to have all that funky stuff that a lot of these guys have. And again, more power to them. But the ordinary guy like me can make something like this with just tools that he's got, you know, in his shop. You know, I got tools, but and there's some of them are really nice, you know. But there's my clamps over there, you know. Got a couple chop saws. Got, you know, normal type tools that most everybody has. Got a router. Got a you know, a biscuit jig, joiner. Got a pocket jig, you know, got just normal tools. Got a nice Bosch table saw, nice DeWalt, you know, 12-inch chop saw. But you can build this just with that kind of stuff. So anyhow, I'll let you know what it looks like after I paint the legs, and then I'm waiting on the resin to come in. I'll do that next week.